Hey, it's Dr. Sam Robbins. Today I'm going to talk about the 6 best non-calorie sweeteners, and one of them actually has GLP-1 agonist effects similar to Ozempic. At the end, I'll also give you what I suggest, what works for me, and you can maybe utilize it yourself. And I mentioned this and I bring up today's topic because most people just consume way too much sugar. And whether they know it or not, but sugar is in everything. It's just hidden in everything. So you got to make sure you read the labels. And unfortunately, sometimes the labels are misleading. So that's the problem. The other problem with sugar is it is very addictive. Now, personally, I don't crave sugar. I tend to have like spicy, type foods, savory type foods. But if I do have sugar, I notice that I'll all of a sudden start thinking about it. And in rat studies or mice studies, they've actually done, studies where the mice actually end up preferring sugar over cocaine. That's how powerful addictive it is. Your whole body runs on sugar. But like I said, it's in everything. So your body has now become more accustomed to craving sugar. And if you tend to have candida or yeast in the blood or in your system, which a lot of people do, that eats the sugar. So then the fungus, the bacteria eat sugar, and then you start craving even more sugar. So it's a negative effect. Now, this whole sugar addiction is one reason that a lot of people are just overweight because of the whole calories in, calories out. You just end up consuming a lot more calories because it's just so easy and it's so tasty and you can't stop. So that all that high sugar ends up turning into belly fat. You lose muscle, you have lower energy, it's poor sex drive. It's not good for your memory. In fact, it leads to memory loss, Alzheimer's disease. It causes more anxiety and depression, all the sugar ups and downs. It's also linked to higher cholesterol and higher blood pressure, and of course, high blood sugar levels, which could lead to diabetes. So if you do consume sugar, I'd rather you replace it with one of today's 6 non-calorie sweeteners. I'll give you the pros and cons of each one, including my own personal recommendations. And combined with healthy diet, right exercise, and some specific herbs, you can guarantee to have healthy blood sugar levels at any age, even if you're type 2 diabetic. So let's get started. So the first one you may have heard of is stevia. Now this is it's a natural compound. It's made from stevia leaves. The benefit is that, again, it's natural. It has low glycemic index, therefore it doesn't raise blood sugar levels. It does potentially have some health benefits with blood pressure and blood sugar levels. And it also is heat stable, so you can potentially cook and bake with it. Now, some of the cons of stevia is that for some people, bitter aftertaste, they said, or maybe it tastes like licorice. Keep in mind, one of the other negatives with stevia is that nowadays they have very highly processed ones, like the ones that are trademarked, like Truvia, which includes additives and other sweeteners. So make sure I get the full GMO organic stevia, and I'll put a link to that in the description area to the ones that I take. One of the other potential issues that people have said is that you also get a little bit of digestive problems. I don't. Now, stevia is the one that I primarily use when I would mix in with my green drink or stuff like that. So that's one, but there's another one that I think might be even better, and I'll get to that in a minute. The next non-calorie sweetener is erythritol. This is it's a sugar alcohol that's found in some fruit. And unfortunately, these days it's made with corn fermentation, which isn't necessarily good. It does have zero calories, and it's not fully metabolized by the body. So that's the benefit there. It is naturally derived. It doesn't spike blood sugar levels or insulin levels. So that's another benefit. It tends to have lower risk of upset or digestive problems compared to other sugar alcohols. So this is a topic I'll talk about in a few seconds. It is heat stable and suitable for cooking and baking, and it supposedly maybe has antioxidant benefits, but I wouldn't really bet on that. Now, some of the negatives or the cons is, again, it does tend to cause stomach discomfort, gas, bloating, maybe even diarrhea in large amounts, especially other sugar alcohols are even worse. It is produced from corn, so most likely it is genetically modified, GMO. If you don't want that, that's something to consider. And unfortunately, it's often paired with other sweeteners, and you don't know, so you have to make sure you read the labels. Now, erythritol is typically found in protein bars, and they'll list it on there as sugar alcohol, so read the labels. But again, personally, I don't like anything with sugar or alcohol. It does give me digestive problems, gas, especially if I consume a lot of it. So just keep that in mind. Now, the next non-calorie sweetener is monk fruit. It is derived from fruit. It is natural. Again, no impact on blood sugar levels. It doesn't seem to have any digestive or stomach problems, so that's good. And it is heat stable, so you can cook and bake with it. The cons, it tends to be a lot more expensive than the other sweeteners, and it is harder to find, so keep that in mind. Pure monk fruit extract can sometimes be blended with erythritol or other fillers, so keep that in mind. Again, we have to read the labels. And it does have a little bit of a fruity aftertaste. Some people like it, so that's up to you. You might want to give it a try. Now, I personally don't have too much experience with monk fruit because it is more expensive and it is harder to get the kinds that, I want that are simple and easy. So, but you need to give that a try on your own. The next non-calorie sweetener is called allulose. Now, this is a rare sugar found in small quantities in fruits such as figs and raisins. It has almost no calories. There is a little bit of calories, but it's like 0.00 whatever, 4 grams or something. So it doesn't really count. The pros, it's natural origin. It mimics the taste and texture of sugar very closely. It's very low glycemic index, so it doesn't really increase blood sugar or insulin spikes. And it does have the potential of fat loss and blood sugar control, which I'll get to in a minute. Now, some of the potential cons or negatives of allulose is it does, for some people, cause digestive problems like bloating or diarrhea or gas. It is, like I said, more expensive and harder to find than others. Now, this is gaining popularity, allulose. A lot of experts are liking it more. It tends to be one of the best ones, and I'll give you the more details about one cool benefit about it that most people don't talk about. So those were the 4 best non-calorie natural sweeteners. Now let's talk about 2 of the most popular artificial non-calorie sweeteners. One of them you probably heard about is sucralose, also known as Splenda. This is an artificial sweetener derived from just through chemical modification, 0 calories. Now, one of the cool things, it's a super, super sweet. Only small amount is needed. It is heat stable for cooking and baking, one of the best ones for that, and doesn't affect blood sugar levels also. Now, some of the negatives, just like other artificial sweeteners, some people say there's an aftertaste about it. Personally, I don't really taste it. Supposedly, it causes microbiota problems in excessive use. So that's something to consider. And it may degrade in high temperatures, even though it is heat stable. So that's another thing. Now, personally, sucralose tastes the most like sugar. But some people said there's potential health benefits. Again, it's always up in the air. Every year comes out, this is bad, that's good, that's bad. But Splenda is found a lot more in protein shakes because it is sweet, and sometimes protein bars. So I like Splenda, but there's another artificial sweetener that you've probably heard of, and that's called aspartame, also known as NutraSweet. This has been around for a long time. It's basically 2 amino acids together, aspartic acid and phenylalanine. You need very little amounts. It's about supposedly 200 times sweeter than sugar, so it's super, super potent. It is approved by major health organizations as far as it being healthy. It's widely available, super easy to get, really, really inexpensive. And it does closely mimic the taste of sugar. Splenda, I think, tastes better, but each his own. One thing to note, that it is not heat stable, so it's not good for cooking or baking. There are controversials about it. Some people say it's toxic, it's bad for your gut, so keep that in mind. Granted, it's very, very, very tested. Double-blind, human, placebo, all this stuff, and it's been shown to be safe. It's not safe when it's used in rats in extremely high dosages. It's like you having like 50 or 100 cans of like diet soda all day. So you're not going to do that. But hey, you know what? If you are having a dozen cans of soda all the time, over the time, it could be a problem. Now, I do know that some people say it causes them anxiety because of the glutamate aspect of it. So it's stimulatory. So keep that in mind. Now, like I said, aspartame is typically found in sodas and a lot of stuff because it's cheap and it's easy to find. Again, just read it. It goes under NutraSweet. All right, so what's my personal view? I personally do fine with all of them, right? But then again, I don't really take much sweeteners. I don't really crave sweet stuff. I mainly drink water. I'm really boring. If you are going to, if you tend to drink a lot of soda, I'd much rather you had diet soda than regular soda. Granted, better to have neither of them, but diet soda is going to be better than you having regular soda because of all that sugar, and they tend to have high fructose corn syrup, which just does negatives to your liver and everything else. I primarily use stevia. I don't like the sugar alcohol ones, so like monk fruit or your the other ones. Now, one benefit I do like with allulose is that in some studies it's been shown to produce GLP-1, a GLP agonist similar to Ozempic. So that's something cool. Most people don't know about it, but between you and me, taking allulose is not going to work like Ozempic. But if you're going to take one, a lot of people like allulose, but the negative is, again, it's hard to find. So in summary, as far as the natural sweeteners, stevia and allulose are my favorite. Stevia is cheaper and easier to use. It comes in powder and it tastes good. Allulose might taste better to some people because it's very close to like fruit sugar. As far as the artificial sweeteners, you have aspartame and sucralose. The sucralose, I think, tastes better. Again, it's up to you. But ultimately, if you really wanted the safest ones, it's either stevia or allulose. Now, remember, the whole point with all of this stuff is to manage your blood sugar levels, okay? So make sure you scroll down below in the description area. I've mentioned the best ways to optimize your blood sugar levels just for overall health, even if you're type 2 diabetic. So scroll down, take a look, implement, and improve your blood sugar levels because blood sugar really negatively affects everything in your body as we get older. A lot of people are pre-diabetic or even diabetic. A few years ago, my A1C levels was like a 6.2, 6.3. So I was just, I guess, consuming all the wrong food. So I had to really step it up by improving what I ate and increasing my supplements that help lower blood sugar levels. So with that said, if you found this helpful, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.